thing about Washington, D.C. is that many of the attractions are free. This is because most of the museums, memorials, zoos, parks, and more are all paid by federal tax dollars, or actually you and me. So it means that once you're in Washington, D.C., it makes for a perfect family trip, couples, it's even good for solos, fun, when people are by themselves, tourism as well. In this video, we're specifically going to be talking about 3 different memorials for which you can see in the images that will be shown. Right now, you're probably looking at images from the various attractions throughout DC, but this video is going to specifically go into just 3 of the memorials. Now, this is because all 3, and especially the last one, has a very special meaning and or relevance to the book, The Golden Image. Now, for more information on them, there will be links to those particular sites, as well as also the Washington DC's Visitors Bureau. But I do want to say that DC does have a wealth, and I mean a variety of different places to be able to go. Grant, all 3 of these are memorials. There are museums, there are so much more, as I've already said. Definitely want to be able to go in there, check out DC, and really be a part and have some fun. The World War II Memorial opened in 2004 and is an expansive place that shows how this war touched people from all across the states and territories across America. It is huge. It's not like what you think of most memorials where it's just kind of like a single spot. I mean, it is one spot, but it's so wide. It's really, really large, but it's really, really nice. And really take your time and really take in some of the images, some of the structures, some of the stuff that's going on there. From the water fountain to the Freedom Wall. There's also various structures and sites that relates to each of the states and territories. That's really cool, especially depending upon where you're from. Definitely want to get a picture by your state and how people from that area helped out with the war. See how many people sacrificed themselves so that others, that includes us, will be free. It's a star that has all these stars on there, and you'd be amazed at how much each star, how many lives it really costs. So it's a very, very amazing memorial. I'm sorry, but you definitely want to check this out. It's right in the shadow of the Washington Monument, in case you was curious as to where this particular memorial is located. Next up is the Korean War Memorial. Now, this is a little bit closer to the Lincoln Memorial. If you're from Lincoln, it would be like on his right side as he's looking at the pool. So on the right side, it's the Korean War Memorial. It doesn't just sit by the pool, the waiting water. It's more or less to the side of it. There's signs and stuff for there, but it is really, really cool, and I must admit, it may not be as one of the more popular ones because of where it sits. So when people think of the memorials, think of World War II, Vietnam, Lincoln, Washington. But the Korean War Memorial is definitely a spot you definitely want to check out. It really does reflect how the soldiers there at that time, when they were marching their way through foreign lands, and they were trying to ensure some freedoms, not only for ourselves but for other people. But there's so much, and there's so much history in there. And of course, not only the large soldiers, which is very prominent and very memorable about this particular memorial, but there's also a reflecting pool, and there's also a wall to help us remember those who fought in this war. And the third attraction that we're going to talk about is the Lincoln Memorial. And this is probably one of the more popular sites because its location is right off of the pool that leads directly, of course, towards the Washington Monument and many other sites. It sits right there, and it was also the site of the Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech for their March on Washington in the 60s. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address is in the memorial as well. And of course, there's a gigantic statue of Lincoln himself sitting in this chair. I didn't realize how big it was until when you stand up next to it and you're below even the podium that he sits on. It's really big, almost intimidating, but it's really, really cool. It's really, really interesting. the pillars and everything, the steps. There's so much history. There's so much knowledge. Everything has a reason and a meaning for it. It's even very important in the book itself, the golden image. There's something that happens basically twice. There's one thing that happens that you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. And then there's another event that goes on as well. That's meant to be really, really good in a way it is, but it depends upon what your characters are. But it's one of those, felt great to be able to incorporate that into the story. And upon seeing the Lincoln Memorial, it's really amazing to be able to see that, to be able to read some of the information, and to also think about, wow, where's Marshall Washington, so much other stuff, some of the history that's gone on there at the Lincoln Memorial. So when you're visiting Washington, D.C., you definitely do not want to miss out on this. Make sure that this is one of the sites that you go to while you're there in that city. Well, I just want to thank you for your support with the Golden Image, and when visiting Washington, D.C., hope you're able to consider these particular memorials, but many of the other attractions as well, upon your next visit. Thank you, and have a great day.